I love camping, and I've done it many times before all over the UK with a variety of different people. But there's one thing I've always wanted to do and never been quite brave enough, and that's camping on my own. Now, I'm not talking about pitching up at a family campsite in the height of summer, surrounded by kids and dogs. No, I'm talking about camping in the wild, surrounded only by the sounds of nature, both peaceful and ominous. In this video, I'm finally going to face my fear and spend a night camping on my own in the woods. So I've just arrived at my campsite for the night. There is absolutely no one here, which is kind of what I expected and also what I hoped for. But I did speak briefly to the woman who runs it on the phone, and she said that there's not anyone staying in any of these camping pods that you can see around tonight. So that means that I'm fine to just leave my car here, and then I can just go for a wander in the woods and find somewhere that will be good to pitch my tent. I wasn't quite brave enough to hike off into the wilderness for my first time, but I did manage to find this campsite online which promised an authentic wild camping experience. It's also a random weekday night in the winter, which is why I'd expected to be the only person there. In fact, I didn't see a single person for the entire evening. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this spot. I'm not actually sure that it's the flattest part, but the area where all of the stools were and stuff, it feels too open to me. I kind of like that this has this big log and that the stream is behind it. I don't know whether this is some like primal instinct or what, but I feel like if I'm surrounded by the stream and the log, maybe a serial killer is less likely to get me. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this spot. Now you might wonder what would motivate me to camp on my own when I already have so much fun camping with friends. Of course, I will always love doing that. But I crave the freedom and independence that comes with being able to do things by myself. The peace and clarity of mind that comes from spending time on your own in nature is liberating, and there's nothing worse than being held back from doing the things you dream of by your own mental blocks. Friends won't always be around, partners can leave, and I want to still be able to find joy in these things that I love without being dependent on others. Plus, it never hurts to remind yourself that you're capable of more things than you realized. And there we go, the tent is all set up. Yeah, it really took much less time than I thought. I think when there's only one person, it's just easier to get everything set up inside. And putting up the tent, I mean, it probably would be easier with two people, but the weather's so nice, there's no rain, no wind. So yeah, because of that, it just really didn't take very long. So yeah, I still got tons of daylight. I think in about 10 minutes I'll try and start cooking with the stove. Fun fact, I've actually never cooked with the stove by myself. Every time I've ever been camping, someone else has been responsible for the stove. So this will also be a first experiment for me, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I think I've got this all set up correctly, so now we just have to do the scary bit, which is setting things on fire. So let's see if I can mess this up and set the whole woodland area on fire or not. Right. Okay, there's definitely a fire. This has started boiling so quickly. I must actually be a camping wizard. Ignore the little lump of something that's floating in there. It's not a worry because I'm having a boil in the bag meal, so this water's not going inside the food. So, fun fact about this meal, I've actually had this in my camping bag for like 2 years, I think. And I checked it before I came, and it says that it is best before this month. So this was absolutely perfect timing. I think this was the sign that I really was supposed to overcome my camping fear. Say, oh, the water is really boiling. Okay, before everything goes wrong. Okay, we almost had a disaster then. The water was boiling incredibly ferociously. I can't really seem to master the art of getting it to boil just right. It seems to either boil over and water goes everywhere, or it seems to not be doing anything. So maybe this is just some mystical art of camping that I haven't mastered yet, but hopefully the food's getting hot. Right then, let's see how it tastes. Okay, cooking was a huge success. The food is warm and it's tasty. So far everything's going really well. Let's hope that continues as it gets dark, which is the part that I'm not looking forward to.
After I ate my dinner, I went to use the toilets and encountered the resident peacock. He was very curious and followed me around and back to my tent, which I initially found quite ominous. However, I soon decided that I should see this as a good omen, not a bad one.
He's just hanging around outside my tent. I hope that he's here to protect me from serial killers, and that he is not in fact a serial killer in disguise. I think probably he is here to protect me. Hi! You're leaving me. He's leaving me. Goodbye. Please protect me from murderers in the night. Bye. It's winter, so it's only 6 p.m. and the sun is about to set, so I don't think I'll be able to sleep just yet, but I think if I just spend some time relaxing in the tent, then hopefully I'm not going to get too spooked. My only downside of my plan, or the thing that I'm worried about, is that when it gets to like 10 p.m. and I'm actually ready to sleep, I'm probably going to have to pee again, and then I'm going to have to get out of the tent and walk around in the dark, which I am a bit scared about doing. So that's the one flaw, but hopefully spending a few hours in the tent now, I will relax. I mean, it's not something I'm very good at doing, so who knows.
It's amazing how much being alone in nature with poor access to the internet can clear your mind. I found myself not worrying about minor daily stresses like what I'd need to buy at the shops the next morning, or stupid arguments I'd had earlier in the day. Instead, my mind felt free to wander, and I found myself more grounded in the present moment. So far, all the fear I'd thought would spring up in the darkness was nowhere to be found.
I think I'll head out for my pee in a minute, and then we'll see how I feel after that. Okay, it was definitely spooky outside when I went to pee, but I just did it really quickly and I tried not to think about it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to sleep now. I'm so warm and cozy in my sleeping bag. Good morning. I slept pretty well. I actually managed to fall asleep very quickly, which is kind of surprising because it was very early when I went to bed. But yeah, I slept from about 9:30 until about 3:30 a.m. And then I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep for about an hour and a half. So that wasn't the best. But once I got back to sleep, then I slept really well until the morning. And I'm still feeling quite sleepy now. So I'm going to eat some biscuits to try and wake myself up. It's so beautiful here this morning. The sun is shining through the trees and it's just absolutely beautiful. I couldn't have picked a better night for it, really. So yeah, I think it's time to take down the tent and then I'll head off home.
As I packed away my things, I found myself reflecting on how much I'd built up the idea of doing this in my head. I first decided I wanted to go camping alone almost 2 years ago, and it's taken me this long to take the first step. I expected to spend the night lying wide awake, startling at the rustling of wind and the snapping of twigs. This couldn't have been further from the reality, which was that I truly found myself enjoying the peace that came from escaping from daily life into nature, and got some pretty solid sleep as well. It really helped to remind me how empowering it can be to face your fears and discover they weren't as well-founded as you thought. Every time I overcome something I'd convinced myself would be too challenging, it gives me a huge boost in confidence and the ability to dream even bigger for next time. Now all I have left to do is work up the courage to take my tent and my stove into the mountains and spend a night fully in the wild. But that's an adventure for another day.